All right, hello, all my AP Human Geography students. This is Mr. Mitchell. It's good to talk to you again. I'm actually not using my camera because it doesn't have as good an audio quality, and you don't really need my face right now anyway. So I just want to kind of give you an update on what we're going to be doing and the assignment that you're getting. It's a two-part assignment. You know, if you read, or when you read the updates to the AP tests that I posted, you would know that we've actually already covered everything that's going to be on the test, units 1 through 5. We did that in class. We were a little bit ahead of schedule, like I said, and so everything's great. Unit 6 and 7 are not going to be on the test at all. So what we're going to be doing for the rest of the year, or up until the test date, which I'm actually not sure if it's still going to be May 3rd or May 5th, whichever one it was. But we'll update that later. But what we're going to be doing until whatever date that is reviewing each unit. And then after we review them, doing a couple of FRQs on those units, moving on to the next unit, and then repeating. When we get to the end, we'll be doing some FRQs that sort of incorporate aspects of all the units, and hopefully in the next month and a half, we'll be able to prepare really well for that test date. If you have not read it already, please read what I posted on PowerSchool Learning, which goes in detail about what the new test is going to look like, so you know how to prepare. So today, what I'm going to be doing is looking at this website that has a overline of Unit 2. Let's see, it's this Unit 2 review. If you remember, it's all about population and migrations. Where do people live? Why do they live there? What about migration? When do they move? Here we can see a mass migration of some sort here. Looks to be in Latin America. And this is just a really good site. So you can see that up here. It's on Fiveable. Okay. You can pause the screen right now if you'd like, and go to that website if you'd like, if you want to follow along. But it tells you here that Unit 2 is 13 to 17% of the test. That is not true anymore. It is now 20% of the test, maybe even 22 or 23%. I'm really not sure how they're going to do it, so none of that percentage matters. But this is a great resource for Unit 2, population migration. We're going to do Units 2 through 5 first, and we'll go back to Unit 1. Okay, Unit 2 covers population and migrations. And let's just read the overview together. Critical to human geography is the human population. Geographers seek to understand the distribution of people on Earth, why people decide to live where they do, why they migrate from one place to another, and the effects of migration. The demographic characteristics of populations, such as their birth rates, death rates, life expectancy, are key to understanding population change. The distribution of people influences all other elements of human geography. Where people live, whether spread out or in small communities, or concentrated in large cities, affects how they relate to each other, what demands they place on the environment, and what decisions they make as a community. The distribution of people influences all other elements of human geography. Where people live, whether spread out in small communities or concentrated in large cities. We already read that. For example, the spatial distribution of children will influence where a community will build a new school. People decide where to live based on many factors. Some are physical. People want to be near sources of food and water, and where the climate is not too extreme. Some factors are human. People might want to move to take a job or to be close to family. This is an excellent overview of what you're trying to understand. Ideally, the goal for this class is that you would be able to explain these things to people because they become a part of just your base knowledge set. And you might hear my family in the background a little bit. Anyway, you'd be able to explain these concepts to people because they just become a part of they become a part of like what you know and how you understand the world. And of course, you'd be able to go into detail with examples. Okay, for instance, you might be able to explain why are so many people moving from rural western China to eastern China right now, moving to the coast. It's the biggest mass migration of humans in history. And it's happening right now from western China to eastern China, where hundreds of millions of people are moving. Why? Why is that happening? So you should be able to explain those types of things if they're asked of you using some of these basic ideas that you find here. I'm not going to read everything. I just kind of wanted to read that overview, but I do want you to go to this website and read these 2 paragraphs. These are the essential questions that you should be able to answer in your head. How do folk and popular cultures differ in the ways they help form a society's overall culture? What do the spread of and changes in languages tell about the cultures of the world? How do religious and ethnic groups both reflect and influence the geography of places at different scales? I'm not going to answer those for you right now. You're going to need to be able to know those for yourself and do any research here in a second. We'll talk about that. The different models that you need to know. Population pyramids. Let me just actually open something like that up. So you remember population pyramids are these things that show, the blue shows how many men there are, the pink how many women. It shows percentage of a total population here for each bar graph, and then this the y-axis shows the age. So something like this would say there's not very many young people, quite a bit of middle-aged people, and not very many old people. Right? This would be a society that's primed for shrinking. And this is China, by the way, 10 years ago, and this is what China's predicted population pyramid will be 40 years from now. You'll see that it's going to kind of even out. They're going to have a lot of old people and a straight line of middle-aged to young people, more or less. It'll be a somewhat shrinking but mainly stable society. Demographic transition model. We talked a whole lot about the DTM, which relates to the epidemiologic transition model, how medicine and disease transition as a society gets more advanced. Review these on your own time. Ravenstein's laws of migration, Zelensky model of migration transition. We got a little bit into these. We didn't review them a ton, so this is going to be what you really need to review here in a second. And then the Malthusian theory of population growth, which you remember is basically about the Thomas Malthus's theory back in the 1800s of what's about to happen, all the ways that human population growth is going to outpace our ability to produce enough food, which is going to cause a collapse, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll get back to those in a second. And then at the bottom it has some past FRQs. You can look at those if you'd like. And then here's the Unit 2 key concepts. I'm going to allow you to look at those on your own time. You do need to look at them, though. Here's concepts and vocabulary. Quite a few of them. And then that's it. So here's what I need you guys to do. And I'm going to post this in written form on the PowerSchool Learning as well, underneath the link to this YouTube video. I need you to go through this website, read. I need you to go over each of the population models, all right, and take notes on each one that gives a 1 to 2 sentence summary of what each of them mean and what their importance is, and maybe an explanation, very, very short, of each of these 6. Okay, you can skip this part. And then looking at the Unit 2 key concepts, I'm not going to make you write anything on that other than I just want you to go through them and be familiar with what you're going to be looking for. And then I want you to go through the list of concepts and vocabulary from Unit 2, and I want you to pick 15 of these that you don't recognize, that you don't feel like you understand when you first look at them. Like, I'm not really sure what a dependency ratio is. If you're not really sure what something is, I want you to write it down or type it out, and you're going to submit that to me. Okay? So, again, what you're submitting to me today, you're going to submit a brief description, very brief, of the 6 models from Unit 2. And you're going to submit to me 15 vocabulary words that you didn't know from here. If you want to do more, it's just bonus, great. If you push yourself, that's fine, but just 15 for now. 15 vocabulary terms that you didn't know, write them down, define them. Don't just copy and paste the definition. You can do that, but then explain it. You can copy and paste the definition from online, but then sort of explain it in your own words what you think that means or how it applies. And if you can give an example, that's great too. But basically go into a tiny bit of detail about each of those 15 things. So that's 21 concepts, 15 here, and then 6 from above. and then submit that to me. After you're done with that, I'm going to unlock the Unit 2 FRQ on AP Classroom, which you will do and I will grade. Okay? If you have any questions, just you can. I think I'm going to open up a discussion board on PowerSchool Learning. That's what I'll do. I'll open up a discussion board on PowerSchool Learning. If you have any questions, you can post it there, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. All right. I hope this all was very helpful. You guys have a good one. Good luck.